Wow, 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 wow.
Leigh, welcome back.
We're back for season 3 of Queer Gals Watch the West Wing.
Here we are. Who'd have thunk it?
I am here bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Ready to just get on in. Get on in at the deep end.
Like a warm bath.
Yeah, just slipping in.
It's lovely to dive back in.
A few little bubbles. Welcome back, dear listeners, to Queer Gals Watch the West Wing. We're here with Series 3, Episode 1, with myself, Fi, and the lovely Leigh Douglas.
Yes, and I should say that we are diving in with Manchester Part 1 at the behest of we kind of spoke to our Patreon subscribers for their input and their advice in terms of the best order to do our watch of season 3. And I know that there is an episode, Isaac and Ishmael, which is quite a direct response to September 11th, which happened at the outset of season 3. But we have been told by our Patreon subscribers that it is kind of a standalone episode and that it would be a shame. And I, having now watched Manchester Part 1, would have to agree it would be a shame, given that Manchester Part 1 so directly follows on from Two Cathedrals. I do feel it would have been a shame to kind of insert it here. So our plan is to do Manchester Part 1, Manchester Part 2, Isaac and Ishmael, and then carry on with episode 3 of season 3.
So that's the plan. And I think it works very well because, boy oh boy, do we just kind of dive back in.
Yes. So, yeah, very much a huge thank you to our patrons on Patreon for your guidance and your expertise in this matter.
Yeah. As seasoned wingnuts, we are but young wingnuts, still in our sort of chrysalis stage. Okay, Leigh, should I just jump on into the episode recap?
Let us dive right in.
Let's get this show on the road. So, previously on, let's just have a little reminder of where we left off last season. Bartlet at the lectern, debating whether or not to run again. Haiti in the midst of a coup. A group mourning of Mrs. Landingham. Public opinion in flux. Flotus furious and everyone at a low ebb. Drama, Leigh.
I love nothing more than when Abby Bartlett is absolutely beside herself with fury.
Oh, we're going to get into it.
But I will say we are smack bang wallop right back into the real-time continuation of Two Cathedrals.
But I love that we roll back a minute or two. So we watch CJ do her thing, but this time not underscored by the Dire Straits.
Some lovely cinematography. It's very glossy. I love the kind of camera flash of the press corps. Everything's kind of beautifully silhouetted. It's all very sexy, Fiona.
Yeah. And then you mentioned the fact that there's a point where someone asks a question and then there's a clap of thunder and Bartlett's like, sorry, there was a little noise there.
Sorry, there was a little bit of noise there. Could you repeat your question? The little bit of noise being a literal clap of thunder.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved that. I'd like a small moment for the rear shot of the president. Shout out to Mr. Sheen's ass. And also to the response to the question posed to him, which was, yeah, and I'm gonna win. Let's discuss that as a kind of energy to come out with.
I think to circle back to season 1, episode 1 of this podcast, Fiona, Jed Bartlet is daddy.
Yeah, he is. Girl, you're crazy. It's so crazy, girl. What is that? What is that response? Yeah, and I'm gonna win. It's a man's world, man. It's just he's just a guy's guy.
It's very hey mama lesbian, dare I say.
Yeah, no, yeah, okay, that reads. And so with a crash of thunder, Leigh, we're traveling in time 4 weeks later to the tarmac beside the Air Force One.
Now, the time scheme of this episode, it took me quite far in for me to work out that we were flashing backwards and forwards in time.
I'm gonna just keep clocking when Leigh mentions in our shared doc that she doesn't know what's happening, because I was laughing as I was going through. I was like, she's still not here.
So in my mind, we're going from the press conference directly
straight
to Air Force One.
Yeah, crazy. That's insane from you, but that's fine.
But I will say we are back on Air Force One, and I was pumped, Fee. I was pumped from moment 1 to be back on Air Force One.
I love being on Air Force One. CJ respectfully looks shattered. Just noting that running theme through this episode. But Leigh, let's just keep stock of some new characters, because the camera is lingering here and there on various people. And I'm just flagging that Jed rebuffs a person called Bruno before getting on the plane. We'll get to Bruno. We've got thoughts and feelings. And then another little kind of storyline flag that I'm going to wave, which is CJ gets a tip off from one of the press corps that the FDA they're announcing a new drug on Monday.
Yes, a new drug has been approved.
Which has been approved, which is also the day that it was planned for Jed's big speech.
Where Jed is going to launch his campaign, his re-election campaign.
So not great. Then there's some name dropping about Doug. We'll get back to Doug.
We will return to Doug.
We're going to be returning
detail.
to Doug. We're going to be returning to Doug. So CJ relays the news about the FDA to Josh, and his first response is, "And you didn't take care of this." The woman is doing so much. Maybe just stop flirting with Donna and just do something yourself. Like, we can't always
She
put
learned
everything...
about this, but moments ago.
Literally.
You would not be learning about this were it not for CJ Cregg's relationship that she has developed and built over time with the press corps. You, famously, Josh, have a terrible relationship with the press corps.
And actually, as we go through this episode and we see what CJ's been contending with, this feels like even more of an insensitive comment than I thought.
Absolutely. How about we all stop coming for CJ?
Yeah, also a little mention that Flotus is AWOL.
Well, yes.
And Leigh, we do find out who Doug is, and who is Doug?
Doug is Harry Goldenblatt from Sex and the City.
I know.
I was beside myself. Harry Goldenblatt has arrived in the West Wing. In my mind, this is just absolutely his character from Sex and the City, but we're meeting him 10 years prior.
Yeah. Like, this is the crossover we've always dreamed of, Leigh. What did we do to deserve this?
I'm so excited. Also, he has beef with Toby. I'm thrilled. I think we made a conjecture as to Toby and Harry Goldenblatt knowing each other in the past in like one of our first episodes.
It could come
oh my God,
yeah.
Are we psychic?
I think, Leigh, actually we're both kind of geniuses, so...
Or either that, or we just have a slightly unnerving spiritual connection with Aaron Sorkin.
Yeah, I don't hate that though.
Literally, if you'd asked me my dream actors to show up in the West Wing, this man would be one of them.
Yeah,
I
truly.
love him.
He's fabulous. So this is Doug. He is Doug. And I think my energy is he's got to be part of the campaign team.
I think given the kind of butting of heads that is happening between him, Sam and Toby, in my mind, I think he must be Toby's counterpart on the campaign team. So the communications director for Jed's re-election, I would presume.
That makes sense. And then you said, "Oh, hello, Connie, a new EA alert." And this is another new character.
I then fear that I have made a rookie error in assuming that a new female character is an EA. I think she may also be part of the campaign team.
I think she is. My instinct is that she's press. Because there's some sort of exchange of information. It's like, oh, just to bring you up to speed, this is happening with her.
Perchance CJ's equivalent on the campaign team, perhaps.
And I am thrilled, Leigh, because the actress who is playing Connie is none other than Connie Britton, who is an absolutely sensational actor. Leigh, you'll recognize her. Her IMDb page is phenomenal. So she's been in American Horror Story, The White Lotus. She was in Nashville. She was in Friday Night Lights.
So many more actors from Friday Night Lights. For Friday Night Lights, and forgive me, dear listener, my uncle is a huge, huge fan. He has the full DVD selection. I've never watched Friday Night Lights, but for a relatively unserious show, dare I say, so many actors have gone on to great things from Friday Night Lights.
Yeah, real springboard moment, I think. She also is in an insane comedy series called Spin City, which stars Charlie Sheen and Michael J. Fox.
Spin City, I like the sound of it.
It's rogue as fuck. She's also hot and a redhead. Check for Aaron Sorkin.
He does. Oh my God, so many hot redheads. Margaret, Ginger, Andrea, and now we can add Connie to the list.
Yeah, he just loves a redhead, and I don't know, that makes me respect him. But I do enjoy that we meet Connie and her first instinct is just to be like, wow, Air Force One is crazy. She literally holds up a box and she goes, M&M's with the seal of the president? And I feel like we haven't had that from anyone else before because it must be a crazy place to be, Air Force One. We
had Charlie's kind of wow moment when he was entering the Oval for the first time, but I feel like it's been a while.
Yeah. So the thing that's kind of bubbling underneath all of this is the fact that the new campaign team perhaps is not getting on very well, Leigh, with our core gang.
The boys, their toes, they feel stepped on.
It's so funny, right, that the transfer of power from our boys to a campaign team is not going well. Sam Seaborn in complete meltdown because he's not in charge of writing speeches. He literally comes out into a corridor, says, "It reads like an Andy Williams special," then throws papers in the air and just says, "We're starting all over again on a white piece of paper."
The phrase baby and bathwater comes to mind.
And that's our smash into opening credits. It's just Sam Seaborn throwing papers in the air and just being like, "I don't like it."
Having a little tantrum.
Yes.
And we freshened up the credits a little, I feel.
Yes, and guess who's now officially in the opening credits? None other than Stockard Channing.
Dare We Dream series regular.
Here we are. Here she is.
And we love to see an and Marley Matlin coming in.
But Leigh, it's time for us to flash back in time to the stormy, stormy night of 4 weeks prior. And we are going to the residence and we are going to find Abby Bartlett. And Leigh, is she in a good place?
I knew she would be stewing from the moment I saw Jed on a TV screen. You just know the minute you see Jed giving a speech on a TV screen, we just know that the person who's going to be watching it is Abby Bartlett, and she is going to be a stewing. She is going to be full of wrath-fueled rage.
She does love to like go all in on like a rage, because this is what she did when he did a speech before. She was like watching it back, remember, and like was like, "You didn't take my edits."
That was the State of the Union. Yes.
Yeah. So she opens with, "You missed it. It was incredible. It's all over the news. This crazy man got up in front of millions of people and totally screwed his wife."
Obsessed.
Takes large sip of her white wine.
Obsessed.
And then Jed goes, "That's funny because that's kind of what I did." I love that they can still joke at times like this, but I do worry that like I'm genuinely like actually scared for Jed and Abby.
I respectfully disagree. I feel like this is all an elaborate foreplay for them.
That's so wild. Like, I know what you mean, but also I'm like, at some point, guys, like, you need to stop scaring the people around you as part of your sex games. It's not right. It's not right. I'm scared. I'm scared. I don't like it when mom and dad fight.
But also, like, Abby's so hot when she's angry. Her hair is kind of mussed. She's in, like, a red jacket. She's kind of sat like the Godfather in this armchair.
Yeah, she's a cigarette away from being, like, some sort of fantasy. So what we do also hear from Jed is that he can't talk to Abby about her feelings because he has to go and stop the coup that's happening in Haiti. So good to know that that's still ongoing.
This is the point where I got extremely confused because I was like, where are the team going to and coming from on Air Force One? And why are they sometimes wet and sometimes not wet?
Leigh's like, how are we on Air Force One and now people are in the office? What's going on? So we're on our way back from the press conference when we're in flashback. And in flash forward, we're all on our way to New Hampshire, obviously. Where else would we be going?
I got that, I would say, in the last 10 minutes of the episode. I consider myself to be a smart person. I did not feel it was flagged sufficiently.
No, and normally you're really good at these things. I will say that I'm with Donna when she says that she's monumentally pumped.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Also love Toby entering the season positively drenched.
Like so much wetter than everyone else. Like at some point he was made to like stand on some like waterproof matting and someone from wardrobe just doused him in water. And everyone else appears to have just been spritzed lightly.
It does make sense to me that like every other character would like run through the rain to get to the car. Whereas I feel like Toby had a moment where he was simply done and he just stood still in the rain and just allowed it to rain and pour down upon him while he just took 5.
Yeah, I kind of love that from him.
Yeah.
Just having like a damp cigarette. Everyone's quite pumped, much like Donna, about like how the kind of moment's gone, the fact that Jed's confirmed he's running again. Toby just says, "I'm smiling on the inside." Never change, Toby. There's also a very cute moment where like everyone's at action stations, right? Everyone's like going in and out of their offices. They're like, what's next? What should we do? We need to do this. We need to do that. And
Thunderbirds are go.
Very, very that. Sam and Toby like speak as one. Like they say the same thing to Ginger.
Sam has now learned from the master and they are now speaking as one.
It's so funny. Like Toby looks him dead in the eye and just goes, okay, let's try not to do that a lot.
But he's also filled with pride.
Yeah. Leigh, you flagged another new character.
Nancy.
Yeah, so I think Nancy is part of CJ's team. And I feel like we've heard Nancy's name before, but I don't know if we've ever had eyes on Nancy.
Maybe just a slightly less featured. Mm-hmm.
But I'm excited I would love an expanding of CJ's team.
I would, because in the real world, that's obviously a huge team, which we will get to in the study session.
Oh, just a little nugget drop about the study session.
Teaser.
Just a little teaser. What do you like?
Thrilled to hear Toby say, I need Oliver Babish. Lovely to see that he's not disappeared off into Mandyland in the new season.
Yeah, we all need Oliver Babish.
Mm-hmm. I'm just also loving the kind of frenetic rain-drenched energy from everyone. I'm pumped, Fee. Are you pumped?
I am monumentally pumped.
Mm-hmm.
Dare I say to, invoke Mandy, I'm psyched.
I obviously then again say, wait, how is Sam just on Air Force One and now he's here? I'm so confused.
To your credit, Aaron Sorkin is moving like sickeningly fast in this episode. Mm-hmm. Like we are moving at a pace today.
Yeah.
However, one thing I did really enjoy was all three of our boys marching into the Oval Office and standing in front of the president's desk, just waiting to be told that they're very good boys.
Yeah.
And they're all soaking wet.
Mm-hmm.
And Jed's just like reading some papers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, my first point of discussion of this episode, Leigh,
mm-hmm.
Sam Seaborn, Virgo, discuss.
Yes, correct. No notes. I would like to take that and raise you.
Mm-hmm.
I believe Joshua Lyman to be a Sagittarius.
Yeah.
And I believe Toby Ziegler to be an Aries.
No, Aries for Toby does work for me,
mm-hmm.
correct.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think Leo Taurus.
Oh, I see that. And I will be claiming CJ Cregg for my own people, the Capricorns.
She's definitely got some Capricorn in her, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I think her vulnerability speaks Capricorn to me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No, Leo for me has to be Taurus because it's that like dependable, like we can lean on him, but like there's this stubbornness.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a kind of tendency to sort of smash around.
Intractable.
Yeah. And this is just a classic example of the top tier chat that we offer people.
On a 25-year-old TV show.
I like that Jed dismisses them by just like looking up over his papers and going, what are you all looking at?
Yeah, truly.
Give the boys something, Jed. Come on, it's been a good day. Like, you did something hella rock and roll. And he's just not flaunting it.
Yeah.
Which is in itself actually quite rock and roll.
Truly.
Should we go to the sit room?
Straight in with Nancy in episode 1 of the new season. And also, I would like to flag that there's another woman of color in the room. She doesn't speak, but she's at the table.
We're making baby steps. Tiny, tiny incremental steps. I would like to really bask in the American glow of the concept of Operation Swift Fury.
Yeah, if you want to talk about something that a British or Irish politician could never get away with.
Naming an Operation Swift Fury.
If the Irish military ever tried to call something that, it would be absolutely laughed out of the country. The military would never be able to do anything again because, don't they think they're great now with Operation Swift Fury? Oh, the lads, they think a lot of themselves, don't they? They're absolutely obsessed with themselves. They love it.
It's true, yeah. It just doesn't work here, you know?
But also, this was the first point that I cried in this episode.
What, the standing applause?
The standing applause from Nancy. How am I already crying?
Just Nancy just encouraging the room to get on their feet and just applaud Jed.
Just a standing ovation for Jed, which he will appreciate from his theatrical roots.
Yes. Yes, very good. I wasn't ready for that. It really surprised me, because Nancy's a very cool lady. And it's quite kind of like mom energy from her.
She's not got drunk auntie energy, unlike the two of us. Yeah, there's something about a member of military personnel giving a standing ovation that feels, because they're so far away from our own people, the theatre lovies, they're kind of as far down the other end of the spectrum as they can get, that it is actually moving as opposed to just feeling kind of decadent and unnecessary.
I think you've nailed that, Leigh, frankly. Decadent and unnecessary really does kind of describe a lot of kind of theatre people. The other word I would use is just loud.
Yeah.
We can be very, very loud.
But I will say one thing that does make me cry every single time, when I see an understudy go on and they get a standing ovation. Gets me every time. Gets me every time.
We've been in the theatre together and we've given an understudy a standing ovation, just looked at each other with tears in our eyes.
Multiple times.
People realising their dreams. It moves me. So sue me, okay? They've been sat in that dressing room waiting for this moment.
Yeah, and inevitably, you and me, like, touch each other and go, that's their friends. I can see that's their friends. That's their friends.
And then we'll be like, well, in the front row. And then we'll be like crying because their friends will be crying. Wow.
Now, back to Air Force One for one of the grossest moments of the episode.
Yes.
The
hateful.
disrespect. The disrespect.
Okay, may I?
Please.
Hey, red-headed girl.
Margaret.
Okay. I'm sorry? How dare you?
Margaret is the executive assistant to the chief of staff to the President of the United States. How dare you, sir? How dare you?
Yeah, FYI, we hate you now.
I believe this is also a member of the campaign team.
Yes, this is Bruno that did this. We are in the corridor of Air Force One and Bruno, hey, red-headed girl.
I hate Bruno. I hate him. Fire him immediately.
Margaret looks back at him with literally zero respect, which I love from her. And she's wearing this incredible kind of high neck bodycon, gold flecked dress.
Can confirm also somehow the bob is even cuntier than last season.
Yeah, she ate no crumbs.
Yeah. I think actually in this episode, and I hope this is a sign of things to come for the rest of the season, that we have simply allowed Margaret in this costume and with this bob to be the baddie that she truly is. We're just not shying away from the fact that she's hot anymore.
Yeah, I think they've realised that it's a war they're never going to win and just let the gal show off the curves and swerves that she has.
Yeah, please, let's stop dressing her like she's 50 because she's half that age.
Yeah, she's literally younger than us.
Yeah.
At this point in time. Okay. Leigh, this is the point where Leigh goes, ooh, are we jumping back and forth in time? Welcome, Leigh. Come on into the episode. Good to have you here. Leigh took a huge gulp of water before I did that, and now potentially is joking.
And we've swallowed. Carrying on.
I would like to flag, Leigh, that the character Bruno is played by an actor called Ron Silver.
Wow.
Which I think is an insane name.
It is. It's giving stage.
Yeah, it's for truly. Not your born name, I dare say. But I will say that I think at this point I'm thinking Bruno, campaign manager, Harry Goldenblatt, aka Doug, communications, and then I think Connie, press.
Yeah, great. What I will say is I hope we're setting up Bruno to be a complete asshole so that Bruno can be fired.
And replaced by Joey Lucas.
And replaced by Joey Lucas.
I think that's what's happening.
Amazing.
Because there is zero, that it feels like no one likes Bruno. I'm unsure why Bruno's here. He goes in to talk to Leo, and this exchange happens. May I continue with Bruno? Doing Oprah wouldn't kill him.
Honestly, I think it might.
I cackled at that. Because
the idea
I was
of Jed Bartlet sitting down with Oprah Winfrey is so funny.
No, it genuinely would. It could possibly kill him. Also,
we do know that the minute that you're sitting down with Oprah, you have a mess to be cleaning up. You have the mop out.
Yeah. We're scrabbling if we were on Oprah.
Yeah, things are not going well.
Yeah, top tier West Wing humor. Aaron, beautiful work. Beautiful work. They then go on a walk and talk, and there's a helpful rundown of the 4 weeks between the two time zones where I think, Leigh, this was where you fully arrived in the episode, correct? What I will say is, why could this not have happened in the first scene? And then I would have gotten where we were from moment one. Yeah, no, that's okay. That's fair. We also learn that in the month that's passed since Jed announced he would be running for president again, he's only gained 2 points.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not good, right?
No.
That's real bad, actually.
Mm-hmm.
We're then going to be landing, and momentarily, CJ just loses her mind. And I felt the needly... This moment kind of didn't go anywhere, but I really did feel the need to discuss it with you.
Mm-hmm.
Can we discuss a lack of yeast in our numbers?
Yeah, so my personal lore, what I've chosen to believe is that, because we all know that thrush strikes at the darkest possible moment every time. It never arrives in one's life when things are going well and one has the kind of emotional bandwidth to handle the fact that one might have a yeast infection.
Yeah.
So I think in this moment that CJ Cregg potentially has yeast on the brain, because I think she has had this work stress over the last few weeks.
And the pH is off.
And the pH is off. And she is currently struggling with a yeast infection. That's my truth for CJ in this episode.
For Alison Janney to be playing that, which now you've said it, I feel like she is. It's phenomenal acting from me. Mm-hmm. Just I'm under work stress and I'm also fighting a yeast infection. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah. It takes me back to a particular tech week when both you and I had thrush and you also had a UTI as well.
It was an incredible...
so dark.
It was so dark. Leigh was performing with thrush. I had thrush. I also had a UTI, and I was operating the tech in this tiny little French theatre, and I was in so much pain that I was curled in a ball on the floor to stop myself from pissing myself, and just intermittently reaching up to press go on LX.
Yeah, can I just say, performing a 1 hour, one woman show with no offstage time with thrush is so dark, and I wish to never do it again. But time for a war council in the flashback thing. Yeah.
I would disagree with CJ when she says yeast is a fun word to say. Yeast for me is not a fun word because it really rolls me back to the dark times.
Yeah, it's a trigger for sure.
Yes. So it's a war council in flashback we're going to. So we're back. This is back on day of we're running for president again. Mm-hmm. We are all in an office together, the full team. Mm-hmm. We've been wet and we've dried out, but we're disheveled.
Yeah. Also, I would like to mention we are still in the day of Mrs. Landingham's funeral.
Whoa, that's crazy, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. So we've already had several emotional roller coasters today.
Fucking hell. But I love I love the styling of everyone. Everyone's kind of a bit undone.
It's so good. CJ has unbuttoned her blouse to reveal the matching powder blue camisole beneath. Yeah. And it's simply a wow.
Yeah. And then everyone's kind of rolled up shirt sleeves. Mm-hmm. Everyone's discussing about how they need to do new polling numbers because obviously the polling they'd done before was based on an imaginary governor. Mm-hmm. So now they actually need to poll for real. Toby is just absolutely done with this day.
And he says, "Thank you all for coming around to the self-evident point I made about 5 minutes ago." Toby is every woman in this moment.
He's every woman in a meeting ever. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Cue the arrival of Leigh.
Joey and Kenny. Our favourite dynamic duo.
It's good to see them on our screens again.
They are, like everyone else, soaked. I love Kenny being a little bit out of breath as he interprets. It really heightens the stakes.
Yeah.
But of course he is committed to the job. No matter how out of breath he is, he will interpret.
Also, I would love to discuss what you wrote about him perhaps being the hottie McHeartthrob of the show. Yeah,
that was a phrase that I chose to type out. I believe it to be true, however. I believe he may be the hottest male character, I should say.
Yeah. I was about to say it's a huge caveat there.
A huge caveat. But I do believe, and it's because of the commitment to service, but also he's just a very hot man.
He's a sexy guy. He always looks great. He's always got a really well cut suit on, and he's got some lovely trench coats. Mm-hmm. The commitment to service to his boss, who's a woman, and the respect that he shows her, phenomenal, very attractive. Mm-hmm. He's really working the kind of early noughties, floppy hair. And he's just got a little twinkle in his eye, you know?
He does.
I feel like he'd know how to give you a good time.
And he also kind of lightly takes the piss out of Josh Lyman, which I love to see.
Is it because he kind of flirts with Josh Lyman? in the way that I wish I could flirt with Josh Lyman. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Leigh, a really great discussion point. Really, really pleased with that.
In fact, I'm going to choose to say my lore for Kenny is that he's a bisexual man.
Yes. Agreed. Confirmed. And we go onwards with that in mind. Okay, fabulous. So I enjoyed there's a running joke about the fact that we all feel the same reasons about needing the poll and doing the poll, and everyone keeps on repeating it to each other and no one's listening to one another. Classic work, Aaron. This is the stuff I love. We're back here. We're hitting into the new season with the kind of classic tropes of the West Wing that we all needed. Thank you very much.
Lovely stuff.
Shall we to Manchester, New Hampshire?
Please.
So the news about the FDA drug that's being approved is that it's actually a abortion pill.
We love to see it.
Didn't really see that happening though. That's a classic swervy curveball.
Also fascinating that we're bringing an abortion storyline into the re-election campaign of a Catholic president.
Yeah. I mean, juicy.
Very juicy.
I feel like there's onwards momentum with this.
For sure. I would say that this is something we're probably going to come back round to in Manchester Part 2, I hope.
Yeah.
But also it does cue one of the most inappropriate conversations to have happened in this show thus far between a boss and his employee.
I think you're thinking that this pill somehow means more sex for you.
Again, Josh, you are her boss. No, I think it's a terrific medical advancement for women. You didn't think I'd be for it. And I would have to say, Donna, you do give off lightly conservative vibes sometimes. So
yeah, respectfully. Respectfully, you do. It does feel like you're kind of new to calling yourself a Democrat. As we've discussed, I think she's got libertarian energy. I mean, it's a bizarre energy between the two of them here, and it's a bizarre energy between the two of them in a later scene. I really don't know where they stand with one another right now. It's stressing me out, frankly. Like, don't talk about sex with your assistant. Like, what?
Why are you thinking so much about her having sex?
You took the words out of my mouth. Okay. We're in the bar in Manchester, New Hampshire.
Harry Goldenblatt, you sexy man, come at me with your rolled up shirt sleeves. I love you.
Now, what I will say, Leigh, is he orders an absolute martini on the rocks with olives. What is that? That's awful. What? That's not a drink. I need everyone in this show to have better choices in beverages. Because for me, it frankly just doesn't read that all of them have trash opinions about alcohol. No one has ordered a good drink ever in this show. I stand by that. I mean, even Toby orders a Jack Daniels, which it's simple. It's respected by bartenders everywhere. But realistically, if you're going to have a bourbon, why are you having Jack Daniels? It's not nice.
If I'm going to have a whiskey mixer, then fine. Jack Daniels, fine.
Yeah,
if I'm going to enjoy a whiskey on the rocks, it's not going to be a Jack Daniels.
Also, come
Give
on,
me a
Toby.
Maker's Mark. Give me a monkey's shoulder.
Let's stop pretending, Toby, that you can't afford top shelf. Do you know what I mean?
Could not have said it better myself.
Like, why are you buying from the speed rail? Look up at the shelves, man. Do you have such low opinion of yourself? You deserve a treat. You work very hard. Sorry, that really took me somewhere. So sorry. So I think this is confirmation, the scene between Doug and Toby, that Doug is kind of campaign staff. But there's tension. We don't get into it, but as Toby gets up and leaves, the bartender says, "Are you friends?" And Doug goes, "Yeah," which makes me question, who hired the campaign team? And do Doug and Toby go back?
I see that. I do see that.
Because part of me is from Doug's perspective, I can see him being like, Toby, you brought me in on this team. Why aren't you talking to me? Why aren't you sharing with me?
Well, we know that Toby has lost many campaigns before he got onto Jed's team. I wonder if Doug and Toby have been up against each other in primaries previously, and that Doug's candidate maybe has won.
Oh, I like that. That's juicy. Okay. Let's flash back again. This time to Leo and Toby in Leo's office with a very pleasing exchange. How's the first lady?
You know, with everything on our plates, we don't have to be marriage counselors right now.
No, we should, because you and I would be good at it. Just two divorced men making jokes about how they're divorced.
We love to see it.
I think it's healthy.
It's so healthy.
It's just them being like, look, we weren't good husbands.
Yeah.
And I love that kind of self-effacing moment.
What I will say is, am I detecting a sexual tension between Nancy and Leo? Because I would love that.
Now, I do feel like Leo has quite a lot of sexual tension with a number of women.
Yeah.
I think he's got gravitas. I think he's got chat. And I think because he feels like quite a safe man, women are like, we can have a little bit of a twinkle. We can have a little bit of chat. But like, I know it doesn't need to go anywhere with Leo. I know that like, we're just pals. But like, it's fun to have a bit of witty, like, rapport.
From my perspective, I don't think Nancy is looking for a relationship. I don't think she has the space in her life for that. However, I do feel that when she looks at Leo McGarry, she's thinking, I could take that out for a spin, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, like a one-off, one-time thing, like every now and then. And then they'd just be like, thank you, like, have a great week.
A friends with benefits vibe. I could see it.
Yeah. I will say that I was completely ended by Nancy just like side-eyeing to Leo and being like, I was proud of our boy.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was
like,
a lot.
Referring to the president of the United States as our boy.
Obsessed.
Yeah, I kind of am obsessed. What's the law with Nancy?
I wonder if her kind of compassion for Jed's MS, was Nancy potentially, we know she's a military woman, was she injured in battle? Has she had like a serious injury recovery herself at some stage?
I feel like she's got a long-term friendship with both Jed and Leo. Because our boy is crazy. Right, well, we're in the Situation Room and we are getting our people out of Haiti. Operation Swift Fury is a go. That possibly was the most stressful 90 seconds of television
so intense.
I've watched in a long time.
I'm so glad I've never had to be in a Situation Room as an operation is unfolding. I couldn't handle it with my nerves.
No, it's not a disposition that I have in my wheelhouse to be able to deal with that kind of, the cortisol level would just go too high for me and I would just be in tears. So it feels like we got people out, but there's no confirmation as to how bad it got. And like there were people saying that they'd been hit and we don't have an idea of casualties.
No.
We're just leaving that kind of open for Manchester Part 2, I think.
Yeah.
Like the in-depth kind of how bad things got. We then flip-flop from that to Manchester again and the bar and like rock the boat.
I was not expecting a rock the boat moment in this episode of television.
It's a bop.
The needle drop moments continue to be a surprise, I would say.
Honestly, it really sideswiped me.
Also immediately followed by just a hot lesbian bartender in the background of the shot.
Truly the finest in the industry is the hot lesbian bartender, especially if they're like a tad surly.
Oh,
yeah.
Surly lesbian. Jesus Christ, I melt.
But we will just enjoy Sam and CJ just having a little bev.
Such a hot friendship.
What I love is that like Sam is very much like at work, like making notes on pieces of paper and CJ is just like a bit pissed on white wine and like reading aloud from a pamphlet. And I will say that this is very me coded, like the reading of the, like doing a dramatic reading of like something I found.
Yeah.
But now we will see and understand why CJ is so stressed and frazzled. We're flashing back to CJ at the press conference, like in the aftermath of Jed's announcement of MS and the Haiti Operation Swift Fury.
Also, just to remind everyone once again, the day of Mrs. Landingham's funeral.
Like, what a day. So she is getting absolutely hit by a barrage of questions from the press corps, like the flashing of the lights, like the people being like, CJ. It's very overwhelming.
Yeah.
One of the answers to a question she gets asked is, his state of mind is that he's commander-in-chief.
So good. Also, the president finds you all to be annoying, but not prohibitively debilitating.
Very good. She's really good at her job.
God, she's good. It just goes on a touch too long.
And we keep moving from like CJ like actually in person and then Josh like watching her on the TV screen. Cue a little Joey check-in, just basically saying that she thinks CJ's doing a good job. But obviously this isn't important because Josh needs to talk about big tobacco.
He's still on the big tobacco shite. But we need to give everyone a moment, Josh. It's like today is not the day.
I am with Jo when she says, yeah, that's really stupid because offense always makes people play defense.
Yeah.
which is so insightful. Like, I really need him to listen to someone and stop like being like, but I need to win a thing too.
You're not going to get a win today, Josh. I'm sorry, you're just not.
No, today's not the day. But I will reference that Joey has a new haircut. She's going to take it over like Margaret's like flicky look, and it looks really great.
Yeah.
Now, we end that kind of section by like a zoom in on the TV with CJ and Josh saying, it's getting away from her.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's tough, but somehow I think respectfully right. I think it's not like it's him being like, oh my God, I can't believe she's not handling it. It's him being like, oh shit, like how are we going to get her out of there?
Yeah, it's tough.
Flip-flopping back to the bar once more. CJ and Toby playing pool.
In a sexy bar. It's so sexy. Talk about a sexy friendship. I'm going to stop saying sexy.
But what Toby raises is a very interesting thing, Leigh.
Yeah, he's kind of like, Leo told me what you're thinking about. And I'm like, are we alluding to the fact that CJ is thinking about leaving? Or are we being led down the garden path to think that's what we're referring to and that's not actually what we're referring to?
I mean, it could be either. Like, we know Aaron's like a slippery little sucker and like he loves to kind of double cross us to bait and switch. But I'm scared.
I am also.
So we're going to flash back to the Oval and another Haiti briefing. Peter, back in the Oval Office, we'll remember him from last season. We love a capable man. Not feeling great about a subsequent refugee crisis and like sending people to Guantanamo. Like, Leigh, are we going to war?
And I will say, to your point in the shared doc, once more, where is Fitzy?
Yeah, like I do need Fitzwallace to be involved. Now, it just feels like it's been too long. I don't believe that he is still with us.
But what I will say is, it is good to see Joshua Lyman looking tired again, because he was far too frisky and free for a while.
Yeah, it's good to see that he's like put in a shift. Do you know what I mean? So the general consensus is we're worried that like going to war is going to be seen as a way to distract from Jed's MS diagnosis. So everyone's really worried about like the spin of this.
I mean, hey, it worked for George Bush.
See?
I should say.
dropping truth bombs all over the place there, Leigh Douglas. A moment of conjecture. Once again, we ask about how the First Lady is. Everyone is scared of her, and that's kind of the energy one wishes to garner as a woman.
I think especially as a kind of like menopausal or post-menopausal woman, I think the goal should always be to inspire just a little bit of fear.
Like, she's not even in the building, and they're like talking with hushed voices. These are the most powerful men in the United States.
Excellent point. Yeah.
Back to the pool table in Manchester. Aren't you supposed to be writing?
I am writing.
I don't see paper.
God, I love the sass from Charlie. He's also having a cheeky beer. He's like, wow, you're all grown up, hon.
Like Charlie, we never see Charlie off duty.
Yeah.
Toby then is like, let's play a game of pool. And Charlie's basically like, I'll only play you if it's for money. Which is really fucking hot, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, Charlie.
But also I feel gross. I'm so much older than him. I can't think he's hot. No.
Right. And then we immediately flash back again because Babish is back, baby.
Babish is back.
So Oliver has come to talk to Charlie and basically to tell him to lawyer up in preparation for the special prosecutor that's going to be looking into the kind of secrecy surrounding Jed's MS. I love that Charlie's energy is just, I think I'll be fine. I don't need a lawyer. Like, I love that from him. We know he's a smart kid, but this is the big leagues. And I would hate for Charlie to be collateral. Yeah. Because he did know shit, like, and he did keep secrets.
Yeah, and it's like, you're really, really smart, but also this is going to be like an adversarial situation where someone's going to be actively trying to catch you out.
Yeah. What I will say is Oliver Babish just comes back to him with this by saying, this is NFL football.
I love that we've circled back to this from season 2 where Hoynes says, now that's football.
Yeah.
And now we've leveled up to NFL football.
I would like to proffer that Oliver Babish has never watched a football game in his life.
I would agree. Correct. 100%.
This is NFL football. Babish then says, assuming you did nothing wrong, said nothing wrong, and saw nothing wrong, about $100,000.
Shit.
So Charlie's going to have to find $100,000 for a lawyer. Right. So it kind of makes sense that he's hustling pool for money, but he's going to need more than the $40 that he wins. I am appreciative of Toby trying to check in with him. I'm kind of scared that like Charlie's like rebuffing the check-ins. Like, I don't want him to like clam up and like shut people out. Yeah. Because also he doesn't have Mrs. Landingham now either.
Ugh. Just keeping a An avuncular eye, if you will.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the thing that happens next, Leigh, is that we kind of go to this sort of like a table where people are chilling in the bar in the Manchester hotel. Being around Josh and Donna must be exhausting as a coworker.
Oh, absolutely. I can't with the eating of the food.
Like Josh being like, you said you weren't hungry and now you're here eating my dinner. And Donna being like, well, I wasn't hungry, but I'm going to eat your potato salad. Like, just come on, guys. We're adults. Like, poor Margaret's just like trying to enjoy her club sandwich.
You're a grown woman.
She's had a long day.
Order a meal. There are some things I'm not coy about, and dinner is one of them. Just have a meal.
Leigh, I could not be more behind you on this. I resent when I'm with someone and it is a mealtime and they're like, oh, I don't know, maybe I'll grab a snack later. No, we're ordering a meal.
Yeah.
We're both going to eat because otherwise neither of us are going to be good people. Mm-hmm. And also it's a designated mealtime. Moment for Bruno again. Coming onto our screens with a really punchy back and forth yet again.
Just showing that he is a hateful man and that I hate him.
Where is he?
How are you?
I don't care. Where is he?
Leo's on the phone.
I can't, like, we are giving this character, like, no space. Like, we are like, he's the devil. We all must hate him. He then reads out the speech, which has kind of been, there's been a lot of chat around the speech being bad. Famously, Sam Seaborn threw the pages of the speech in the air and said we needed to start again. He reads from the speech. It is very bad, but I'm unclear as to who's written it. Like, it seems like Bruno hates it and our guys hate it.
I think it's a classic case of too many cooks.
Right. Okay. We're going to pop back into flashbacks. The polls are in. The early polls are in. The numbers aren't great, but they're not terrible.
They're not prohibitively bad.
Right. But then we do, if we remember correctly, 4 weeks later, we've only gained 2 points.
Yeah.
So grim. Everything's kind of looking a little grim. We're popping in with tobacco one final time this ep. Josh, literally every single character he asks about this is saying don't do it.
Please trust smart people. It's not worth it to be a maverick.
He asks someone's opinion. They say don't do it. And then he just says, I'm doing it.
It's so annoying.
It's so irritating. I really would love for this not to be a long-term storyline because it's so annoying. And it's making me hate Josh. We're cutting away to CJ and she's still in front of the press. Like, we need to get her out of there.
We have the shaky cam on CJ. It's like we're watching her like we're watching Jason Bourne in a fight.
Yeah. And then it happens.
It's so dark. It's so bad.
So CJ gets asked a question. Like, it's like been a barrage of questions. And then you can see her like faltering, like she's just getting to the end of her tether. And she just says, to be honest with you, Carl, I think the president's relieved to be focusing on something that matters. Get her out of there, get her out of there, get her out of there.
Alison Janney's performance in the moment after she makes this gaffe is so good. And I don't know, other than like in Succession, but they were bad people. It's one of the only times I've seen a woman have like a really visceral emotional reaction to fucking up at work. And I felt this like in my bones, Alison Janney's performance after this moment.
It was amazing. Like the space that they left after that line where like the whole room's like, the fuck did you say? And then we see everyone's reaction to being like, what's just happened? And like Toby and Sam and Josh all like kind of like swarm towards where she's giving the press conference to like be like, what the fuck have you done? And she comes out into the corridor and it's like absolutely gut-wrenching. She just comes out and she's like, just don't say anything. And she's like on the edge of tears. And I just think that when someone is on the edge of the tears, but they won't let the tears spill over, it's so powerful. And she's just like, God damn it. And maybe, Leigh, my instinct is like, is this the link to the resignation conversation with Toby?
Yeah.
It's like, actually, like, can I come back from that?
Yeah.
Just a quick check-in with Joey Lucas, just doing the Lord's work. Josh wants to send the release.
The press release?
Yes, it's incendiary. Josh is feeling burned and is letting his emotions, and I dare say ego, drive what I think is a very delicate situation.
Yes, you dare. Yes, you dare, Joey Lucas. You do dare say that.
It feels like we needed Joey to just go to Leo and be like, by the way, you need to check your boy. Because I think he's going to make a huge fuck up. I really appreciate from her. Dare I say, campaign manager energy.
What I do love to see also is that we are seeing Sam, Josh, and CJ all at the edge of burnout in their own different ways. We've opened the episode with Sam throwing the papers up in the air. He's, normally the guy saying, I'm the spokesman, it's in my blood. But he doesn't right now, have the words to say what he needs to say in this speech. Josh is just thinking of absolutely self-sabotaging and doing something completely insane. And we have CJ making our balls up in a press conference. We're showing in character, specific to each character, how each of them would specifically be in burnout.
Yeah, and it kind of culminates in this very stressful conversation in Leo's office where like Sam's like, we're tired, like CJ's tired, like we're all tired. And Leo's like, oh, I guess that's what we'll tell them then. I guess we'll just tell the press that we're all tired. And you're like, fuck, you can't ever say that in these jobs. You can't ever show weakness. It was really tough, that scene, to watch all of the male characters kind of pull CJ apart and like talk about how much of a fuck up she's made. It's really interesting to see how quickly the ranks close like in moments like this. And I resent kind of how much basically everyone except Toby is like, does she understand how bad this is?
Yeah, I think she does.
Of course she fucking does.
You just saw her reaction. You know that she knows how bad this is.
She thinks she's just tanked her career. Like, can someone go and check on her? We close out this episode in the most insane way possible, which is that we go to the Bartlett Ranch in New Hampshire.
I've never been happier. We just see a lone sheriff chilling on the sidelines as the car drives up. Jed having a cheeky cig on the ranch in his blue jeans, and suddenly
sat on the back of like a flatbed truck. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's giving Nicholas Sparks.
We're suddenly in a completely different genre.
Honestly, it's insane.
I do also like kind of want to watch this whole episode again with the knowledge of what happened to CJ to track it all the way through. Because obviously in the flash forward on Air Force One, this has already happened. In New Hampshire, this has already happened.
Yeah, me too. I feel like I need to watch it again to like get all the timings right in my head. A moment for Jed Bartlet just being disgruntled and going, screw it. It's game time. Let's go.
This is a nice piece of land.
What the fuck is happening? Like, why is that Leo's response? Leo's then like, oh, are Abby and the girls coming like later today? And Jed's like, yeah. Fundamentally, I cannot see Abby Bartlett on this ranch.
No, I can't see Zoe on this ranch.
Like, Abby Bartlett in a pair of wellies?
Are you joking? No.
Like in some overalls? Are you kidding? The woman's a couture woman.
What I will say, this ending of the episode is it's all very Two Boys in a Plane, Pearl Harbor energy from Leo and Martin Sheen.
It's honestly batshit. Like, you say this is a slightly bizarre episode, no, and I couldn't agree more. It was very fucking weird. Like, yeah. I'm glad to be back here. I'm glad that we started season 3, but thank God this is a 2-parter because honestly, I've had none of my questions answered.
Yeah, fully.
Chaos.
Into the rapid fires?
Yes, let's. Leigh, best fashion.
I think for me, it's CJ playing pool in the white silk blouse, unbuttoned to show a flash of camisole beneath.
Truly the era of the camisole.
I was a big cami girl in
Me too.
So many different colours.
Different colours, sometimes a little lacy edge.
Sometimes a built-in little bralette.
Yeah. Wow. I would say that the dress Margaret's wearing when Bruno's shouting at her.
That was a highlight for me also.
Honourable mention, I think, to Joey's haircut.
Beautiful.
What could a British or Irish politician never get away with?
Operation Swift Fury.
Yes. Yeah. That's just confirmed. That's locked in. I would say that a British or Irish politician could never get away with just like being on a ranch. Like, farms in the UK just don't translate in the same way that like ranches in America do. Like in the UK, like if you're a politician who also has a farm, then I would imagine you would be perceived as being quite aristocratic.
Yes, very
because
Tory.
Like being like a true like kind of like blue collar farmer in the UK, like you wouldn't then be like, I'm also a politician.
Yeah.
You'd be a politician if you were what's referred to as a gentleman farmer, which is just like my family own land.
And they have for several centuries.
Yes, and we have people who manage it. Whereas I feel like kind of like Jed being on his truck is kind of hot. kind of
It's like
sexy.
a Levi's ad. It's like
Yeah. How long until guns, abortion, free speech, religion, like our big ticket bingo card items come up? I mean, I feel like obviously like starting a war.
Yeah, for sure. It's also been a while since we've had abortion come up.
It has. And actually the abortion pill being approved and just the throwaway line, conducting abortions in the Rose Garden.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Feels like maybe you're right that we're going into like a big like buzz topic of the campaign trail is going to be like, what's Jed Bartlet's stance on abortion as a Catholic man? Best writerly moment?
Doing Oprah wouldn't kill him.
Honestly, I think it might. I think that's got to take the biscuit for me. Truly on form from Aaron there. Man, I feel like a man.
How's the First Lady?
You know, with everything on our plates, we don't need to be marriage counselors right now.
No, we should, because you and I would be good at it.
Mine, I had to be, I think, this is NFL football.
Yeah.
Closely followed by Josh Lyman with, I'm doing it.
Truly, I think I'm doing it might have to actually take the biscuit.
It's the fact that he asks for advice first and then it's like, well, actually, I didn't care about your advice. I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
One of my least favorite things humans do.
Yeah. And so male.
Yeah. We've got to take a moment for, this is a nice piece of land.
Yeah.
And the moment that made you proudest to be an American, Leigh?
Ooh, weirdly, the moment immediately after CJ's screw up, because I saw how much she loved her country when I saw how annoyed she was at herself.
Yeah.
Her passion for the job made me really proud to be an American.
Yeah, Capricorn to Capricorn. For me, I think it has to be Jed on the ranch, just like on his truck in his jeans smoking a cig. To me, that's America, baby. Okay, Leigh, it's study sesh time. Where we're going, what we're doing.
In honor of CJ Cregg, we are going to dive into who even is Karine Jean-Pierre.
Oh, please.
A woman who I am personally obsessed with.
Great.
And who has received absolute vitriol on the internet. Really quite shocking when I was like looking into this to research the comments on every video of this woman that are on the internet.
Yeah.
I started looking to kind of like out of curiosity, see how far down it would be till I got to a positive comment and I just stopped. It was horrible. Anyway, Karoline Leavitt, the current press secretary of the United States, recently referred to her as saying, "I'm not going to stand up here and lie to you about the state of our economy like my predecessor did."
To me, this is the thing that's kind of crazy about America, because like you couldn't do that in the UK.
Yeah.
Because you would get sued.
Because that would be illegal.
Libel. Yeah. So that's why I just find America wild. Like you guys are like, yeah, free speech. I can say whatever I want based on nothing at all.
Yeah. So let's answer the question. Who even is Karine Jean-Pierre?
Okay.
She wanted to be a doctor. She trained as a volunteer firefighter, in fact, towards
Hot.
that end.
Very hot.
But unfortunately, her MCAT scores were not good enough to get into medical school. And so she worked as a temp in lots of different industries, as did we both, Fiona.
Hey, it's a great way to learn. Nothing wrong with being a temp.
In 2001, she enrolled in the School of International and Public Affairs at Columbia University. And the week she started on that course was the week that the Twin Towers fell.
Whoa.
Yeah, huge. So she studied urban policy with the expert Esther Fuchs, PhD. She was one of 2 Black women who were on the course, and her ex-professor remembers her by saying she asked the hard questions. Her concern was always for what we call the promise of America. She believed in it, but she saw where it wasn't working. Which I love, because that is true patriotism for me. It's not just like blindly believing in the American dream. It's seeing where the American dream isn't working for some people. In 2007, she worked for John Edwards, who was then a presidential candidate. And there she met Jen O'Malley Dillon, who went on to be Biden's deputy chief of staff. So a Josh Lyman.
Right.
who was then working as John Edwards' deputy campaign manager. Fi, you will not remember this because you were in the UK, but Edwards' run for president kind of imploded. And then Jen O'Malley Dillon moved on to Barack Obama's staff and offered KJP, as I'm going to refer to her from now on, a job. Jen O'Malley Dillon says, Karine and I grew up together in this business. It makes me sound like the oldest lady in the world, but when we were first starting out, there weren't as many women leaders, and there certainly weren't women of color at the level that Karine is at now. So even the fact that I'm saying, you know, like Jen O'Malley Dillon became a Josh Lyman, there was no real precedent for that at the time that the West Wing is being written. Now, KJP grew up in a working class immigrant household. Her dad was an NYC cab driver. She's a New Yorker. And her mother was a home healthcare aide. And they were both kind of working multiple jobs. Karine Jean-Pierre couldn't read until the 3rd grade. Her parents were juggling lots of different jobs and assumed she would learn at school, and she didn't. And she grew up with 2 younger siblings who were both, I think, like at least 7 years younger than her. And so she was absolutely determined that this wouldn't happen to her younger siblings. So she set up like a classroom in the family basement when she was in middle school to teach her younger siblings how to read. And her brother remembers her teaching him how to read and write, but also says that she taught him how to articulate emotions and how to speak.
That's really moving.
Which is such a moving and beautiful memory to hold as a younger brother to an older sister. Yeah. Now, Karine Jean-Pierre went on to serve for 2.5 years as White House press secretary. She is the longest serving female press secretary. She was press secretary from May 2022 till January 2025, so the end of the Biden administration.
Whoa, that's a really long time.
It's a really long time to have that job. And in that time, she did over 300 press briefings. Prior to her role as press secretary, she served as the chief public affairs officer for MoveOn.org and also as a political analyst for NBC and MSNBC. And she had kind of various jobs in the Obama administration and in various Obama campaigns prior to that. But it was while she was an MSNBC political analyst and the public affairs officer for MoveOn.org when she had her kind of first big national moment, which I believe is what put her on the trajectory to becoming press secretary. Because in 2019, she was moderating a forum for presidential candidates. This was during Kamala Harris's first run for president for the 2020 election. And a protester rushed the stage while Karine Jean-Pierre was moderating this event. And Karine Jean-Pierre basically jumped up and put her body between the protester and Kamala Harris.
Whoa.
And now Karine Jean-Pierre is like a small person. She's like a petite woman. And she basically like stood up in front of this large white man to put her body between the presidential candidate, Kamala Harris, and him. And she was interviewed about it on the news afterwards, where at MSNBC, where she was a political analyst. And the other journalist said, "You became a newsmaker this weekend. I watched it with my stomach in my mouth. That's you. Your 89-pound body you threw between Senator Kamala Harris and a protester. I was scared for you. I'm guessing in the moment, that's like a woman that lifts a car off a child. What was happening?" And Karine Jean-Pierre answers it by saying, "I've spent the last 48 hours processing this. It was a scary moment. At the time, I wasn't thinking that. At the time, I was thinking, gosh, the Virginia Beach massacre just happened the day before where we lost 12 souls. I was thinking, you know, white supremacy hate crimes have increased in the last couple of years. And I was thinking, what is going on? And I just acted. I was thinking about this and I thought, you know, just listening to people reacting to this, it was a trigger for many, many women. When you see 3 women standing on stage and women of color, including a woman who is running for president, the only woman of color in this race, and we're talking about the gender gap, race and the gender gap, that was her big idea. And a white man with all of his privilege comes on stage and steps into our personal space, in particular Senator Harris, and it was scary. And the only thing that I can think of was to act." And then the other journalist asks her how she's doing, and she talks about how she then spent the next day with her daughter and She said, I think there was a joke I've been making of, oh, I'm from New York. I'm not going to let this happen on my watch. But there's been a real kind of fear and scare that I have had. I had friends say to me, you put your body between this person and Kamala Harris. When I thought about it that way, it was scary because I have a kid and I have a family to think about. But I would do it again because it's not okay and we have to stand up for each other. And sometimes it's women that do it, you know, and no one else will do it. So we have to stand up for each other.
Yeah.
Maddie Kahn wrote several years later on a profile of Karine Jean-Pierre for Vogue that Kamala Harris called Karine Jean-Pierre the next day to ask how she was doing. And like KJP just didn't want to hear about it and basically focused on insisting that Kamala Harris get security. And Maddie Kahn writes in her profile, that quality of directness, blunt with a touch of compassion, is Jean-Pierre's currency at the briefing podium. She meets the White House press corps almost daily, favoring bright colors and bold eyeshadow when she does. And while she's more reserved than some of her predecessors and less likely to respond to provocation with a social media ready retort, she has sharpened her own technique. Disarm with a smile, then lay out the facts at hand.
Ooh.
Yeah. Now, it was a pretty rapid sequence of events from the moment that KJP had that big national moment to how she then ended up as press secretary. So after that, she joined the Biden campaign as a senior advisor, and then she became Vice President Kamala Harris's chief of staff. And you can see how that moment clearly created this incredible relationship between her and Kamala Harris. Karine Jean-Pierre then went on to become the first Black press secretary, the first person of color press secretary, the first openly queer press secretary, and the first Haitian American immigrant press secretary. In her first press briefing, Karine Jean-Pierre said, I just want to say a few words about how honored I am to be here with you all today in this role, in this room, standing behind this podium. I am obviously acutely aware that my presence at this podium represents a few firsts. I'm a Black, gay, immigrant woman, the first of all three of those to hold this position. I would not be here today if it were not for generations of barrier-breaking people before me. I stand on their shoulders. If it were not for generations of barrier-breaking people before me, I would not be here. I benefit from their sacrifices. I have learned from their excellence, and I am forever grateful to them. Representation does matter. You hear us say this often in this administration, and no one understands this better than President Biden, which is why his administration is not only the most diverse in history, it is filled with barrier-breaking women and men. Also, behind the podium as press secretary on National Coming Out Day, Karine Jean-Pierre said, like so many in the LGBT community, coming out wasn't an easy thing to do. My family was traditional and conservative. Being gay in my family wasn't something that you mentioned out loud or celebrated. But my family, like many families, grew to accept who I was. Who I loved didn't change who I was as a person. It didn't change the things I liked to do, and it didn't change the goals I had for my life. She's also written about the fact that she knew she was gay from childhood and briefly considered becoming a nun so that it would become a non-issue. And she actually attempted suicide in college whilst struggling being closeted. And her sister found her in her car with the exhaust on and shook her awake. And during Lesbian Visibility Week, when she was press secretary, she actually hosted the cast of the L Word Generation Q at one of her press briefings and said, as the first openly queer person to hold the position of press secretary for the President of the United States, I see every day how important visibility and representation are. As a young queer woman of color, I felt alone and sometimes invisible. For so many people in our community, the L Word's impact cannot be understated. It's important that the LGBTQI+ are represented in government, in shows, in institutions across the country. And this work is more important than ever as the LGBTQIA+ community continues to face relentless attacks from some Republicans across the country. She's also recently been commenting on the kind of state of politics today and how the now Trump administration's relationship with the press is different to how it was set up when she was press secretary. She's stressed the importance several times of adversarial exchanges in the briefing room and how important they are in order for a administration to be held accountable, and how President Biden really wanted to bring back those norms after the first Trump presidency. Yeah. And she said recently at an event in February 2025 at Harvard, when the Associated Press recently was barred from certain areas, And she was talking about the Associated Press. And she said, and you think about journalists, you think about the reason they're in the press briefing, you think about the reason they're in the pool. It's called the protective pool. There are 13 members of the pool. I'm trying not to get too wonky here. And their job is to provide unbiased information to the American people because the American people deserve that. And when the White House press team decides to step in and override the White House Correspondents Association, who they have the job of doing that, then what we're looking at is state TV. What we're looking at is what Russia is doing. What we're looking at is what North Korea is doing. And we are doing that. They are attacking the fiber of the freedom of the press. They are destroying it because they want it to be covered in a friendly way. And look, I was in that position for 2.5 years. It's an exercise. What we did in that press briefing room, what the president did when he took questions from the press, it was an exercise in democracy. You know, and she also talks about how she never intended to become press secretary and how she had a kind of interesting trajectory to get there. But the importance of representation and how moving she found it when, you know, 8, 9, and 10-year-olds would come to her and say that they'd done their book report on her and how they knew who she was as press secretary. She didn't know who the press secretary was when she was that age. And that's the importance of representation, that like young kids would then come to her and say, I want to be press secretary because of you. She also was asked at that same event, you know, some people say it's the hardest job in the White House. Would you say that? And she said, yes, it is. Thank you. Which I
appreciate that.
Which I really love. And she also talks about the struggle of being a first at anything.
Yeah.
And because there's such a pressure because you then don't want to be the last. And she also talks about being her own biggest critic and knowing when she, you know, she didn't need anybody to tell her when she'd made a mistake or she'd done something wrong because she knew it. And she said, yeah, the harshest critic is sitting right here, which I think is very CJ Cregg coded.
It really is, isn't it?
So much of the way that she spoke about her job, I was like, wow, they clearly got CJ Cregg so right because I can like see her in this woman.
It's clearly a very, like, you obviously have to have a very particular like temperament as a human being to excel in that job. And that kind of like detail oriented, but like tough on yourself personality is clearly what you need to be able to like want to win all the time. Not in a competitive way, but more in like it matters that it's coming across the right way.
Totally. And also she talks about like the fact that she represents several communities and she represents several firsts and therefore you don't want to disappoint them. But what I also am truly fascinated by, and I would say to all of our listeners, if you're interested, definitely read it. It's like not a long read, but she wrote an op-ed for Vanity Fair, which came out the day after Biden left office. In this article, she says, since I stepped into the White House 4 years ago as a principal deputy press secretary and then the press secretary, I have kept details about my private life under lock and key. I knew from years of being the first in various spaces and roles that if I were to share the news of my mother's diagnosis or any other issues in my personal life, it would be seen as an excuse. Society doesn't allow women of color to be vulnerable at work. When you're a first, you don't get the benefit of the doubt. And I think that idea of not allowing specifically women of color to be vulnerable at work is such an important message to put out into the world. And she reflected on this article at the event at Harvard last month when she said, so that Vanity Fair article was an op-ed that I wrote and it came out on January 21st. I wanted the article to come out on January 21st. The reason I'm saying this, it came out after we all left the White House and the president was done. I did not feel like I could share what was in that article during that time. For those who have not read the article, I wrote an op-ed and wanted to tell my story. If you think about it, for 2.5 years in the job, I could not defend myself. I couldn't talk about what I was going through because I couldn't. It wasn't about me. If I'm the story, there is a problem. And during my time as White House press secretary, I had my relationship end. My mom got cancer and her getting sick was huge. I had to be a caregiver along with my other siblings. That meant driving up to New York every weekend when I wasn't working, really being a part of her care. And I did it quietly without telling anybody. The president knew and a handful of people knew, but I kept it really quiet. And again, I felt if I shared that, it would be seen as an excuse. I didn't feel safe, really. I didn't really feel safe to share it. My team didn't know. My assistant didn't know. No one around me knew because I didn't want it to come up. I didn't want people asking about my mom. I didn't want it. I wanted to be focused on the job I was doing. But I also wanted to write the piece because I'm pretty certain that many women in particular feel this and they've gone through this. And I wanted to say, look, I've had one of the hardest jobs you could possibly have, being a first, and this is what I went through. I hope you see yourself in what I was sharing in this piece.
That's it, isn't it? You can't show any vulnerability in the job, but it is so important when you're outside of it to voice that and just to be like, I don't know, it feels so isolating.
Yeah.
But I understand why she made those choices. Yeah. Because you have to be an incredibly personable person, but you can't be personal ever. Like, and it's so interesting, isn't it? That like, that kind of is the way CJ Cregg is written, which is that she's like this very charismatic person who, you know, is great with the turn of phrase, but like, any moment of vulnerability and it floors her, like the way in which she like kind of beats herself up if she shows any kind of chink in the armor. Yeah.
And I mean, you know, I'm sure that CJ Cregg was very much a reflection of Dee Dee Myers, who'd come just for being the first woman press secretary. But then if we think about the intersectionality of the fact that Karine Jean-Pierre is carrying that, she's carrying misogyny as part of the way people react to her as press secretary. But
on
then
top of
in
that,
addition, she's a Black woman and she's a queer woman and she's a working class woman. And all of those crossovers in who she is are all coming together to mean that the number of, because I watched quite a lot of videos of her in her press briefings and also interviews that she's given since to kind of prep this. And the number of people that commented beneath being like, wow, it's so embarrassing that she only got this job because she's Black, queer, and working class. And it's just such a fundamental misunderstanding of the importance and value of diversity. I mean, we know obviously that DEI is being taken away under the Trump administration. Yeah. But it's so interesting that people think if you're even talking about or acknowledging your race or your sexuality or your gender, that must be the only reason why you're in your job, when often the only reason why a lot of people in their job is because they're straight white men and they wouldn't be in that job if any of those things were different.
It's exhausting, isn't it? And like, I say that as quite a privileged white woman. So Lord knows. Yeah.
But I just think she is such an incredible person. I have to say, having watched these videos of her and how she speaks about things, I just really enjoy her as a person. And she's so fascinating in the ways that she talks about things. And I'm so interested in everything that she has to say. And I am absolutely fascinated to kind of, I think she's basically quite rightfully for the past 2 months since she left the role of press secretary, she's been kind of resting and recuperating and actually spending time with her child, which I'm sure is like just absolutely so needed. But I'm also absolutely fascinated to see what she does next.
Yeah, it feels exciting, doesn't it? It feels like she's a really valuable voice, and whether she stays in politics or whether she goes into like now kind of goes hard into journalism, I feel like either road. Yeah. We've kind of got a really important and strong voice. Totally. That I think has been strengthened even more so now she's out of the job. And she's had these moments where she's really pulled apart her experience. Yeah. Like to me, like that vulnerability is so powerful and so valuable.
Totally. And I think you can tell that the Trump administration finds her to be a threat, because why else are they talking about her? She's out of the job. You don't need to still be talking about her. Yep. Also, there is such a lovely video of, because obviously Jen Psaki was her predecessor and her boss originally. So she was kind of Jen Psaki's Carol before stepping up into the job herself. Lovely. And there is a video of in Jen Psaki's last press briefing where she kind of announces that Karine Jean-Pierre is going to be stepping up into the job. And they're both just like holding each other and crying and talking about how amazing the other one is. And it's just such like girlhood.
Yeah. Yeah. Just female friendship encapsulated.
Totally. Well, I'm so excited to be back for season 3.
I know. I've had a really fun time. I mean, what a weird ep, but I feel like you rounded out the energy nicely, Leigh, with an excellent study sesh.
Thank you. I am leaving this study session with a little bit of a crush on Karine Jean-Pierre, I'm not going to lie.
So you should.
Yeah.
I guess we should meet up again next week and pull apart Manchester Part 2. I mean, can it get weirder? I hope we have more time on the ranch.
I want to see Abby on the ranch in those wellies. I do.
I want to see her like skirting around a puddle and being like, Jed, can we not go back to the city now?
We are Queer Gals Watch, wherever you get your socials. We love when you chat to us on Instagram. We love when people check out our Patreon. Honestly, like, our patrons are the reason why we're able to keep doing this and keep covering our costs. So we so appreciate that. And everyone who's able to do that. And also it's just a fun time. All of our patrons, regardless of gender identity, are good time gals. Yeah, all of them.
Yeah.
And we're queergalswatch@gmail.com if you want to pop us a little email as well.
And another thing that's super helpful for us and we really, really value is just a little subscribe and pop in a little review on wherever you get your podcasts.
If it's not a financial possibility to be a patron, then reviews are also such a phenomenal way to support if you enjoy the podcast, which I presume you do if you're 3 seasons deep.
And maybe you're part of a group chat with someone that you think might enjoy this podcast. Pop them over a little link. Get others to join. It's fun here. We're having a good time.
Let's hit the sky, Fi.
Let's hit the sky. This is NFL football, Leigh. I'll see you next week.